this review is going to be a little difficult for me, just because I'm not a character artist, but and there's a mature content one I can't really click on. But let's try. Let us dive in. So we've got mechanical, we've got a prop, and it's. I'll be honest right away. It's nice to have a crate that's not shaped like a crate, but we've got characters for the most part. It looks like, and I think. Let me see here. So this is 2 years ago. Let me go through this really fast. Sorry, I'm going to scroll through this really quickly. I'll also link this in chat just so you guys have the portfolio. Also, Ben, thanks for the resub, man. Appreciate it, dude. Okay, so I'm just going to click through these really quickly. Just kind of get some initial impressions. This is a year ago. Modeling wise, this looks pretty good. It does look really high poly, and we will come back to this one, I think. Just gonna kind of go through some of these. Spider-Man, nice. Oh, you gotta appreciate trying to do these styled renders. Snake Eyes, what's up, dude? Or you gotta give me the kappa. Stylized Knight. So this one's pretty cool. He's really like, I can't tell. I feel like he's flexing forward, so the pose is a little odd to me. Maybe if he was more like upright, because knights are usually, they're like, I'm strong and I can protect everyone, and so he's gonna be like chest out, right? And that with this proportions, with the smaller legs and the big shoulders, like that pose is so much more powerful. Let's just keep, this is a year ago as well. Got a character. He's like the hunched guy in 300 movie. A little bit. Yes, a little bit. Oh yeah, see, having reference is really good for this stuff. And I would actually, we go into, let me see if, yeah, cool. This will paste. Cool. So if we have this, it's going to go through, scroll down here, copy this one. Oh my gosh, it's just doing it. It's actually copying and pasting. So this is actually a really good way of bringing this down. And you'll see I'm like clicking and dragging the, well, okay, you can't see it, never mind. You can see I'm clicking and dragging the opacity up here. And you can actually dial that in with the number keys in Photoshop. So if you're just on the marquee select tool and you just start pressing the number keys, those are like percentages. So like if I press 3, it's like typing it in. So you can do like 56 or 55 or 50, right? And it's like you're just typing in the percentage. Anyways, so let's go in here and just kind of look at like what we're seeing. And this is when you're this early into it, I mean, it kind of looks like you're doing it. Is to just check those proportions and see where things are at. You can see where the ears are at with your ears versus the reference ears, and understanding how the curves work and like how everything folds in on itself. Ears are weird to me, man. My dog likes them, and I'm okay with that. But you can see, and this might have to do with the lens as well. There's going to be a bit of distortion, but really pay attention to where the bottom of the nose is versus the top of the mouth. But yeah, this might be too harsh in the focal depth to really do this. One thing you can do is if you need to check, Polygon, what's up, man? How you doing? Good to see you. One thing you can do to check this is try and distort the focal length in ZBrush or in whatever modeling package you have to try and match this, because it's going to be really important that you're getting all these proportions correct. And original reference, if you can find I don't know, I would say a minimum of like 5 angles of this person's face, you're gonna have a much easier time trying to replicate or commit to the similar look. But yeah, man, I wish I knew. I'll be honest, man. I wish I knew more about character art because I feel like I could help you more. But when I look at your portfolio, everything is very like back here in your portfolio. This is 2 years ago. There's a lot of like for this character. It's very low poly. The materials are not of the. This is Quixel Megascan library. So the rocks are Megas. I see. Okay. So when I look at this model, it's basically it doesn't have the geometry you're expecting in order to fulfill the shapes and details, and then the materials are just lacking when it comes to the roughness values for the materials themselves, the way that the lighting is set on the character. The thing that's working really well actually is the eyes and the little like curve around here, but you can see how even the dirt is on here. Like that kind of detail is what breaks it for me. Like in here, there's the rust doesn't have the reasoning and rhyme and reason to where it forms and spaces itself out. Even dirt. Tej, dude, 43 months. Holy cow. Thanks, man. Dude, that's crazy. But yeah, it's with this model, it's the modeling is not being taken far enough. It's too low poly, and the materials just aren't reading the way you would expect the material to read for like a PBR based. Ancient sub force beats me. TJ old confirmed. When it comes to poly counts, I wouldn't worry about this so much as to try and use enough polys in order to get the look you're going for. If that makes more sense. Oh wow, it's an Eevee as well. Okay. Oh, let's look at this guy real quick here. Before and after. What are we looking at here? Got inspired this character. Series Loki. Nice. So I made it. See you. Cool. This is a cool way of presenting if you just wanted to like build the face and have the materials on here. You can see in the material here, it's quite simple in the way that the surface is reading, whereas you can do these scratches a little less and then really kind of get in there on the smaller edges and you know, get those scratches happening in the smaller crevices and the concave and convex edges. The overall image is pretty good. I feel like the background is maybe like fighting for your attention versus the character, and the fabric pattern is maybe not tiling enough. Here it's very soft, and I guess maybe it's because of the way the lighting is affecting the surface. It's just watching out for those types of details, making sure that the scale matches accordingly, because like this feels like it's tiling less than this, or like the scale is wrong by comparison. Oh yeah, see, it's sculpted in there, and I think that type of detail, instead of having it in the sculpt, you would just tile that as a detail normal. A lot of character work, actually, we were talking about detail normals earlier, where essentially all character models are a combination of a lot of detail normals. Like you have the initial sculpts, which are like for fabric folds and the macro details, right? And then the rest of the detail, when it comes to the way the normals are, is detail normals. Like detail normals for the cloth, detail normals for metal, plastic materials, all that stuff. And then you want to make sure that you're identifying the material types between everything here. So like this angle is pretty cool, and I almost feel like that highlight that's on the edge there, if it was just a little bit further into the shot of the visor, you would notice it more, I think. Or it's not really showing the reflection. You'll notice in film that the reflection on these visors of the glass for these types of shots with like astronauts or something, is you'll see the reflection of the scene, but then really like push down in value. But you'll see a reflection, and that lets the viewer know that there's like a surface in front of the person's face. And it's similar to this, right? But you just have to be able to see through it. And I'm not sure what this is for. Maybe I'm not getting the reference though, you know. But yeah, I wanted to come back to this one mainly because it's a prop and I'm more comfortable talking about props and characters, and just kind of look at some of these details, like these smaller, like, was that hexagonal cuts? That's a lot of geo, and like I think those are actually cut in and then extruded inwards. You want to be careful with that. And then I think you're smoothing. Where is it at here? When I see the normal pass, you can see these green lines, and this is just because your smoothing is not set to a low enough or high enough angle for auto smoothing. So this you're getting like all these sharp edges, and it looks like those are coming through when you were using Substance Painter, because it's affecting the scratches or the scratch mask that you have on here. But if you were to approach this for game development, I would say you probably want to make this, let's say that this asset, if it's a crate, I'm going to assume I see this detail and this detail. I'm going to assume that you grab those with both hands and you pull them together and then you lift it. So this thing's maybe the size of a computer desk, something like that. That's my guess. Let's see. Reference taken from Google. All decals are created. Photoshop, Blender. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I don't have a reference for scale. But let's assume that that's the size, right? What I would do, and it kind of looks like you're doing it, wherever there's stickers or decals, you're gonna put that on a separate texture sheet, like a atlas, right, of different decals and stickers that are gonna go on here, and then the rest of this needs to be baked. For an asset about that size, probably will be a 1024 if it's the size of a computer desk, and then all of the decals will be placed on manually with floating geometry to line up to like where you would expect those stickers to be, because then you can keep the resolution of the stickers, which I think that's what you're doing here. And it's just, I'm just reiterating this just to make sure that it comes through, and then watching out again for these types of details. The only other thing I would say is the thing I always say, which is roughness variation, and it's, you're getting a little bit of it with the metal here, but this material to this material feels very similar, and this is an opportunity to make something quite reflective. And then these darker panels, like all of the darker values could be a different roughness from the rest of the surface. That'll allow the aging and damage to pop a bit more, and just make the overall asset a little bit more complex. The Polygon in chat saying you could do an emissive on this as well. You know, the little glowy bits. Yeah, and I mean the way it's being lit, I would almost say like making a video where like a light kind of swings over it slowly and then swings away. Not full darkness, but swings back. And then when it goes a little darker, that's when you get that emissive to pop, right? It's a great way to present emissive but not have your asset always in like a half darkness. Retro reflective on those red bands. Yeah, if you could get like a it's almost like bike reflector type material on here, or like the reflectors for people jogging and whatnot. But I get health kit vibes from this. It says sci-fi crate, but I'm thinking sci-fi health kit, and I think it's because he's using the classic white and red. That's interesting. But yeah, so looking at your characters, I think you're still working on your proportions and your scale and understanding your anatomy. I wouldn't even take things to like the final. It's screaming med pack. Yes, Polygon. Gotta get those med packs in the dark, man. Those emissive rings telling you, pick me up, I'll heal you, bro. I can't click on this because I don't know what Twitch will do, but I will say that this looks like it may be the the step in the right direction, where you're focusing on anatomy. You're not worrying about building the low poly and understanding how the model deforms when animated, right? You're just like those classic skills, those classic core skills, where it's, are all my muscles where they're supposed to be, and like, are they the right scale, and then how's my proportions, are my hands too big, or how does the fingers look, and all the details around how the head and all the facial features are, and just how the weight of the body, the muscle, and the skin rests on the overall character. Once you have those, then I would say figuring out how to build those low poly meshes. And I say low poly, the game res meshes, I should say, because low poly isn't really, I would say low poly isn't really a term to use anymore. It's more of the game ready meshes. And just getting that topology to where it retains a lot of that detail that you're working from, that you worked up in ZBrush. And it's like, you get that right, and then it's about how does it deform, how does the character move when it's animated and rigged and whatnot. And then from there, then it's like, how do I put clothes, gear, all that stuff, how does that deform? Secondary motions, like, does the backpack that's on a character, does that bounce when they run? If it does, how does that work? So that's all animation stuff, right? But it's those things that you'll have to think about, but that's much further down the line, and it's more important that you're understanding scale and the proportions of your character, and then just technical execution of like good looking content. And don't forget to add a little bit of character later. Yeah, Flip Normals just released a really good tutorial on anatomy, Polygon said in chat. I will Paul, if you link that in chat, I can get that to Kunal directly. But yeah, I don't think I have too much more to say on this review. I think who I have next is John. But Kunal, thanks for submitting your portfolio. There might be Kunal wanted to be in a call, so I'm assuming there's a time difference that got us in this case. But Kunal, if you hear my voice after, don't hesitate to message me with any other questions, and I can try and give you some feedback directly, and we'll move from there. Cool. All right. Thanks, Kunal.